Welcome to Impact History. Today we journey down the Nile to meet Ramses II, Ramses the Great, whose name has echoed for over 3 millennia. He was more than a pharaoh, a warrior, builder, diplomat, and master of image, whose reign defined Egypt's golden age. Ascending the throne around 1279 BC, Ramses ruled for 66 years, outliving many of his children and transforming Egypt's landscape and legacy. But who was the man behind the monuments? Was he truly the invincible hero, or a master of propaganda? We'll peel back the layers of myth, stand in the shadow of his temples, and march into battle to discover the real Ramses. Join me as we unravel the story of Egypt's greatest pharaoh and the world he shaped. The reign of Ramses II marked a pivotal moment. His dynasty, though powerful, was relatively new. This new dynasty was forged by military might and strategic prowess, solidifying their claim to the throne. His grandfather, Ramses I, was the dynasty's founder, a man whose origins were surprisingly humble. He rose from commoner to pharaoh, an almost unheard-of feat. This set the stage for a family of soldiers, warrior pharaohs who would shape Egypt's destiny. Seti I, Ramses' father, continued this legacy, restoring Egypt's power after a period of strife. This restoration was crucial after the tumultuous Amarna upheaval. Seti I's reign brought stability and a return to traditional values. Recognizing his son's potential, Seti I groomed Ramses for greatness from childhood. As Prince Regent, Ramses learned the intricacies of leadership, preparing him for the responsibilities that awaited him. He mastered the art of warfare, studying military tactics and strategy. He delved into the complexities of administration, learning how to manage the vast resources of the Egyptian state. He navigated the treacherous waters of Egyptian royal politics, mastering the art of diplomacy. He gained invaluable experience accompanying his father on military campaigns. He played a key role in overseeing state projects. By the time Seti died, Ramses was not just a prince inheriting a throne. Ramses was a seasoned leader, ready to assume the mantle of pharaoh with confidence. He was ready to surpass his father's achievements. He inherited a stable, prosperous kingdom. This stable Egypt was a perfect launchpad for his ambitions. But Ramses wasn't content to simply continue his father's work. He saw himself as a transformative figure. He aimed to surpass all previous pharaohs. His vision was as vast as the desert. The stage was set, and the world was about to witness the rise of a legend. It was the dawn of a new era, for a reign that would redefine what it meant to be pharaoh. Ramses II stands as one of the most celebrated pharaohs in ancient Egypt. His reign was characterized by ambitious building projects and military campaigns. His military legend centers on the pivotal Battle of Kadesh. The Battle of Kadesh was a clash with the Hittite Empire for control of Syria, a region of immense strategic and economic importance. Control of this territory meant control of trade routes, resources, and regional power. In the 5th year of his reign, Ramses led his army north towards Kadesh, envisioning a swift victory that would secure Egypt's control over Syria. As his forces approached Kadesh, they unknowingly walked into a Hittite ambush, catching the Egyptian army off guard. The situation quickly deteriorated for Ramses and his troops. Isolated and nearly defeated, the pharaoh found himself in a precarious position. Ramses claimed divine intervention, asserting that the gods had intervened on his behalf. He portrayed himself as a lone warrior who rallied his troops. Historians believe that the battle was far from a clear-cut victory for either side, and the pharaoh's account may have been embellished to enhance his image. Regardless of the actual events, Ramses' version became his defining myth, shaping his legacy. In reality, the Battle of Kadesh ended in stalemate. Years later, Ramses and the Hittite king signed what is widely considered the world's first known peace treaty. The treaty pledged mutual defense and cooperation, fostering a new era of trade, cultural exchange, and diplomatic engagement. This shift from warrior to diplomat showcased Ramses' pragmatism and his ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Ramses understood that true strength lay not only in conquering territories but also in securing Egypt's borders with lasting peace. To further cement this alliance, Ramses married a Hittite princess, demonstrating his commitment to building a lasting peace. This union strengthened the political alliance and fostered cultural exchange. Ramses' legend was built as much on storytelling as on military victories. His reign marked a transition from conquest to one of relative stability. Ramses' legacy is that of a peacemaker who helped to usher in a new era of stability in the ancient world. The myth of Kadesh endures as a symbol of Ramses' reign. The story of Ramses and the Battle of Kadesh remains a testament to the power of narrative in shaping history. Ramses the Builder transformed Egypt's landscape into a monument to his power. He launched more building projects than any other pharaoh, consuming vast resources and labor. Abu Simbel, with its colossal statues, was engineered so the sun would illuminate Ramses's image twice a year, a statement of divine kingship. The Ramesseum, his mortuary temple, and the hypostyle hall at Karnak remain architectural marvels. Ramses also usurped earlier monuments, carving his name over those of past kings to absorb their legacy. From the Delta to Nubia, his mark is everywhere, his ambition literally set in stone. His monuments ensured his story would be told for millennia. Ramses elevated the concept of divine kingship, presenting himself not just as a son of the gods, but as a living god among mortals. His temples doubled as stages for his own deification. At Abu Simbel, he sits among the creator gods. Reliefs depict his divine birth, reinforcing his godly status. Festivals like Opet became spectacles of royal divinity, binding the people to their god-king. This self-deification strengthened his authority and kept the powerful priesthoods in check. By fusing religion and politics, Ramses created an unshakable foundation for his rule. His cult of personality was as carefully constructed as his temples. For Ramses, divinity was both a tool and a legacy. Ramses' long reign brought stability and prosperity. Egypt's empire stretched from Syria to Nubia, its coffers filled with gold and grain. His enormous family, over 100 children, ensured smooth succession and loyal administration. The court thrived, with officials, priests, and scribes managing a vast bureaucracy. For the elite, it was an age of opportunity. For commoners, life was shaped by the Nile and the demands of state labor. Monumental building projects relied on conscripted workers whose toil was both a tax and a source of pride. Despite the hardships, peace and plenty prevailed, and the people shared in the glory of their god-king's achievements. Ramses's Egypt was a society united by ambition, faith, and monumental purpose. The era's confidence still echoes in the stones he left behind. Ramses's legacy is dazzling, but it's vital to see both sides. His peace treaty with the Hittites brought stability, and his monuments fostered national pride. Yet much of what we know comes from his own propaganda. Temple walls tell his version, not always the truth. The Battle of Kadesh, for example, was likely a draw, but Ramses's narrative made him a solo hero. His colossal building projects strained Egypt's resources and relied on forced labor. The focus on self-glorification may have left less for ordinary people and future kings. Ramses's reign was a spectacular peak, but its scale was hard to sustain. His shadow loomed so large that it may have contributed to the new kingdom's eventual decline. Ramses II set the standard for pharaohs. His name, monuments, and legend shaped Egypt for centuries. Later, rulers took his name, hoping to capture his glory. Rediscovered in the modern era, his temples fueled global fascination with ancient Egypt. His mummy, one of the best preserved, even traveled to Paris with a passport. Some link him to the biblical Exodus, cementing his place in religious and cultural memory. The Kadesh Treaty stands as a milestone in diplomacy, his monuments in architecture. Ramses the Great remains a global icon, his story a permanent part of our heritage. History as we know it is a tapestry woven with threads of countless decisions, actions, and events. But what if a single thread had been pulled in a different direction? What if a key moment had unfolded in an unexpected way? History could have flowed differently, leading to vastly different outcomes than the ones we study today. The possibilities are endless, and the implications are staggering. Imagine if Ramses, the powerful pharaoh, had met his end at the Battle of Kadesh, a pivotal clash between the Egyptian and Hittite empires. Egypt might have plunged into chaos, destabilized by the loss of its leader and the ensuing power struggles. The grand building projects that defined his reign, the colossal statues and magnificent temples, would never have been realized. His monuments would never exist, leaving a very different mark on the sands of time. The very landscape of Egypt would be altered. What if, instead of focusing on immortalizing himself through temples and statues, he'd invested in infrastructure? What if he had prioritized the construction of irrigation canals to boost agriculture, or roads and bridges to facilitate trade and communication throughout his kingdom? Egypt might have been richer, its economy more robust, and its people more prosperous. But his legacy, less visible, remembered more for his practical achievements than for his monumental grandeur. Would future generations have considered him as great? If Nefertari, his beloved and influential queen, had outlived him, her wisdom and political acumen could have played a crucial role in stabilizing the dynasty. Her influence could have stabilized the dynasty and potentially delayed the decline that eventually befell the new kingdom. Had Ramses refused to pursue peace with the Hittites after the stalemate at Kadesh, the two great empires might have been locked in endless war. This prolonged conflict might have drained Egypt's resources, both human and material, and hastened its fall, weakening it and making it vulnerable to external threats. If his elder brother had become pharaoh, altering the line of succession and preventing Ramses from ascending to the throne, the Ramesside era would have undoubtedly taken a different path. Without Ramses the Great at the helm, there would be no golden age, no era of unparalleled building and military might. The entire trajectory of Egyptian history would have been irrevocably altered. Each pivot, each potential divergence, shows how one life, one decision can alter the course of history, creating ripples that extend far beyond the individual and their immediate circumstances. Ramses's choices, his ambitions, his triumphs, and even his failures shaped not just his own era but the centuries that followed, leaving an indelible mark on the ancient world and influencing the course of civilization. The world we know, with all its complexities and nuances, is built on such turning points, on the decisions made by individuals who shaped the destinies of nations and the course of human events. History is full of what-ifs, of roads not taken, of battles that could have been lost, of decisions that could have been made differently. But Ramses's reality, the world he created and the legacy he left behind was extraordinary, a testament to the power of one individual to shape the course of history. Ramses the Great was a force of nature, soldier, builder, diplomat, and living god. His 66-year reign defined Egypt's golden age and set the archetype for pharaonic power. He mastered every tool of kingship, war, peace, architecture, and myth. His monuments are billboards for eternity, his story a lesson in leadership and legacy. Ramses understood that stories and stone outlast empires. We remember him because he shaped civilization's memory. His vision still inspires awe. Ramses matters as proof of how one person's ambition can echo through millennia. Thank you for joining us on Impact History. If you enjoyed this journey, like and subscribe for more stories from the past. There's much more history to explore.